Heroes whose faces we'll never see, whose voices we'll never hear. Yet those sacrifices have shaped every moment of our lives. They were extraordinary souls, called to extraordinary courage, leaving behind families, dreams, and futures so that we could live in a nation free. From the frozen fields of Valley Forge, where patriots shivered for independence, to the blood-soaked shores of Normandy, where liberty was reclaimed, they fought. In the sweltering jungles of Vietnam, the windswept deserts of Iraq, and the rugged mountains of Afghanistan, they stood resolute. They faced cannon fire, machine guns, and unseen dangers, not for glory, but for us. For the idea that freedom is worth everything. We stand in quiet reverence, our hearts heavy with gratitude for those we've never known. Men and women who've never heard our names, who never saw our faces, yet gave their lives so we could live in freedom. They were the heartbeat of courage, ordinary Americans who became heroes, leaving behind everything they loved to defend a nation they believed in. These heroes didn't know our names, yet they gave us the right to speak our minds, to worship as we chose, to chase our dreams without fear. Every sunrise we greet in peace, every vote we cast, every laugh shared at a summer barbecue, every quiet moment with those we love, these are their gifts to us. They paid for our today with their tomorrows, and their sacrifice echoes in the heartbeat of this nation. Imagine them in moments frozen in time, the colonial farmer at Bunker Hill clutching a musket, fighting for a dream called America, the sailor at Midway standing firm on a burning ship as the Pacific raged, the paratrooper descending into darkness to liberate a continent, the helicopter pilot in Vietnam weaving through gunfire to rescue the wounded, the soldier in Fallujah kicking down doors to protect a fragile peace, the medic in Kandahar kneeling beside a fallen comrade, refusing to leave their side. But who were they? They were the young private writing a letter home, promising to return, a nurse tending to wounded soldiers under fire, the pilot soaring into enemy skies, knowing the odds. They were mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, friends, neighbors, each with hopes and fears, each choosing duty over self. Their stories may fade, but their legacy endures in every flag that flies, every freedom we hold dear. Their sacrifices built the world we know. Because of them, we speak our truths without fear. We worship as our heart guides us. We vote, we dream. We gather under open skies. We're free to love, to laugh, to live. Every child's carefree run through a park, every family picnic on a summer day, every quiet moment of safety we take for granted, these are their legacy. They paid for our freedoms with their breath, their blood, their tomorrows, ensuring that the flame of liberty would burn bright for us and those yet to come. Pause and consider the weight of their choices. Think of the young woman in World War II, a nurse in a field hospital, writing a letter to her sister by lantern light, her hand stained with the day's work, knowing dawn might bring more loss. Picture the father in Korea staring at a photo of his newborn son, whispering a promise to come home, even as he marched into the snow. See the brother in Afghanistan joking with his squad to keep their spirits high, hiding the fear he carried for their sake. These were real lives, cut short for all of us, strangers they'd never met, yet loved enough to die for. Their sacrifice is a call to us, a challenge to live with intention. We honor them not just with flags and flowers, but with action. Teach your children the stories of these heroes, not as a distant history, but as the foundation of their freedom. Seek out the veterans in your community, listen to their truths, share their burdens, and thank them for carrying the weight that most of us could never imagine. Stand for the values they defended: justice, equality, unity, volunteer, vote, speak out. Make their sacrifice mean something every day, not just today on Memorial Day. We can never repay them, but we can live with purpose. We can teach our children the cost of liberty. We can listen to the veterans among us, around us, whose scars bear witness to the price of peace. We can pause at the graves of the fallen, not just today, but every day, and vow to protect the freedoms that they died for. So let us stand together this Memorial Day, hearts heavy with gratitude, and make a promise. We will remember you. We will honor you. Your sacrifice will not be forgotten, not today, not ever. To every hero who gave all, known and unknown, we say thank you. Because of you, we are free. All right, live from Studio 6B, little opening thoughts on Memorial Day, and I think the things we remember. What'd you think?
I don't know, you can write.
Didn't know I could read either.
Did Grok do that for you?
No.
Nice job.
Thank you. Is that that's all you took for minutes? You were surprised I could read?
I was in town hall today doing something, and I saw an older gentleman with his Vietnam hat and his jacket on, and I just put my hand on his shoulder, I shook his hand, thanked him, and I just started chatting with him. I asked him about his health. He says he feels great. And then he started laughing. He goes, well, not great. I'm old. But he's a funny guy, and he was really grateful, and a nice job there, D.
Yeah.
I think
very nice.
They paid for our today with their tomorrows is I think the line I take away the most out of that.
Absolutely.
And
and there was a line you said towards the end that kind of fits. I was kind of searching for some interesting stuff to bring cut wise in to honor Memorial Day. And this one that I found just kind of I had to watch it like 3 times. It kind of digs at you. One of the things you said, some gave their all towards the end there.
Remember the old song?
All gave some gave all.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Tony Times 2 on X wrote for this clip. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, sure.
It's tough to watch, but I think it fits in line to what this whole Memorial Day weekend. We need to remind people what it's really about. Here's cut 7. Marines draping a flag over a fallen soldier. Cut 7. Yeah, as they bring him out.
Yeah. Tough.
Unbelievable.
And of course, that's what we remember.
And that's what one of the reasons why I get so ticked off. When I see these super tough guys behind their computer screen whose kids will never, ever go to war. And they're so happy and so fast to send them off to the Ukraine or the Middle East, especially where we know some of these, what we know now. To me, what we learned about Vietnam and the Gulf of Tonkin incident, we know that the war pigs, the war machine, has taken advantage of our most loyal, bravest, our strongest, our most willful sons and daughters, and they've used them as empty, case shells that, they come home and they're ruined. They were treated so poorly. The hospitals didn't do enough for them. And it really burns me. Like I see that clip and I'm thinking of the song by Black Sabbath, War Pigs. And all I can think about is these people just making so much money off of war, and they don't care about how brave and how loyal and how incredible and how fantastic the lives that get sacrificed and what those people could have done here, what dreams they could have fulfilled, how they could have served their own local community. And it boils me. I won't lie. I don't mean to take a dark spin on this, but it's our love of this nation, our loyalty to this country. These war pigs have taken advantage of these kids, and I've had it. You know what I mean? So I'm nowhere near as gung-ho as I was after 9/11. After 9/11, I was 33, and my wife had to stop me from enlisting. I was full Pat Tillman. I was beside myself with rage. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to deal with any of it. All I knew was I needed to kill someone. I needed to kill as many people as I could. That's how I felt back then. And, you know, I just, you get older, you get wiser, and you realize that, you know, politicians just can't be trusted when it comes to money.
Yeah. Well, you know, the whole theme of that is kind of like the who were they? And the idea of that people who are willing and did give of their lives for people they never would know. And the whole idea of that, the whole concept of that you were going to go possibly give your own life for someone who you never met, who you'd never know, who you'd never see, who you never heard.
It's incredible.
But the idea of this country and what the country is and what the country is built on and what it believes in and the ideals we cherish, and that flag is worth going to fight for.
Yeah, so much so that throughout the years, you've had 16-year-olds lie about their age just so they could go and fight.
Yeah.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Memorial Day weekend. More to do. We'll do some news. We'll do some sports. We'll get into the chat. Lots to do. Glad you're in. We're back right after this. Ba-ba-da-da. 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Glad you're in, everybody. Slick's going to do some sports. Delgado's going to do some news. Paul Nolan's going to do some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Glad to see all of our friends in the live from Studio 6B chat, wherever you're watching. Rumble, X, YouTube, Facebook, live from studio6b.com. Wherever you're watching, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. And if you are at live from studio6b.com, make sure you sign up to become a member. Getter, you watch on Getter as well. Rumble, wherever you're watching. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, thumbs up, join, become a member at the site. It's absolutely free. Let's do some.
Can I read one thing from the chat real quick?
Absolutely.
David Wiles wrote, Papa Nolan, at 17 years old, my friends were coming home under the flags. I felt the same way you did, but I enlisted and off to war I went. And I'm proud to say that I did, but I pray no one else ever has to. Good for you. God bless you, David. Thanks.
Absolutely. All right, 18 past the hour. Let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by our friend Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use if you shop at MyPillow. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, update on the playoff games right now. NHL getting ready to face off in just a couple of minutes. The puck drop down in Dallas in the American Airlines Arena. The Stars taking on the Oilers. Game 2. Dallas leads the series 1-0. With a win tonight, they'll certainly have a commanding lead there. And the NBA action at the Garden. The Pacers right now leading the Knicks 16-9 with 6 minutes to go in the first. Indiana with a tremendous and well-documented the other night comeback that we had on the show. We talked about this, where they came back and they defeated the Knicks. Wow, it was an incredible win. And we got the game now, 16-9. They're beating the Knicks, so we'll see. Hopefully the Knicks can wake up. 5:48 to go in the first, Big D. So there's plenty of time. We'll see what happens.
He's so happy.
No,
Keep trying to stick it to Delgado. We noticed what you're doing. So.
I have no love for the Knicks.
Exactly.
And everybody knows why. I have no love for the Knicks, and that's another story for a different decade.
Because your team sucks.
No, well,
that's why.
That's part of it. We'll see. I think the Knicks come back. I think the Knicks win tonight. I cannot see them losing this game.
Oh my God, that's what you said the other night. Stop rooting for the Knicks.
We'll see. Anyway, let's get
stink.
Big D right up your alley. Charles Schwab Challenge underway to day 2, Fort Worth, Texas, at the Colonial Country Club. $9.5 million purse. Ben Griffin and Matty Schmid both shot 2-day 11 under to lead the pack.
Where's Scheffler? Is he within 5?
He's not even in the top 10. I don't see him. What's going on? He's shuffling off to Buffalo. But and we got Major League Baseball scores. Here we go. Reds 4-2 over the Cubs. Top of the 5th. Top of the 6th. Pirates blanking the Brewers 2-0. Giants 1-0 over the Nationals. Top 7. Bottom 4. Rays 3-0 over the Blue Jays. Guardians 2-0 over the Tigers. End of 4. In a rain delay, Dodgers and Mets. I guess it's raining at Citi Field. We got the Padres and Braves tied at 1. End of 4. Top of the 3rd. No score. Rangers and White Sox. Final from earlier today. Listen to this football score. Red Sox 19-5 over the Orioles. That was game 1 of a doubleheader makeup game. Yankees taking on the Rockies out in Colorado. 8:40 first pitch. We'll have some more updates a little bit later on the scoreboard.
Scheffler only shot 1 under today. Oof. Tied for 49th.
Did we put the Maloya on him the other day?
I was going to say, if Scheffler's anywhere within 5 shots, I'm picking him to win right now.
Yeah. Well, you still got 2 more days. We'll
10 shots back. Even for him, that's a lot.
And former ESPN NFL reporter says Jake Tapper sold his credibility by ignoring Biden decline. So sports weighing in on it as well. Warner Top Houston and Breitbart.
Who's this?
Ed Werder, who covers the Dallas Cowboys, actually. Yeah. Former ESPN NFL reporter Ed Werder blasted CNN's Jake Tapper for selling out while Biden was in power by ignoring the former president's obvious decline, even as he now tries to cash in with his tell-all book. Werder did not mince words in a social media post about Tapper's new Biden-blasting book, Original Sin, President Biden's Decline, its cover-up, and his disastrous choice to run again. The former ESPN legend took to his X account to comment on a video of Megyn Kelly's amazing interview with Tapper. Werder ripped Tapper for ignoring Biden's mental incapacity for so many years. He sold his credibility as a journalist for access to power and now expects to profit from the very audience to whom he lied, Werder wrote. With Kelly grilled Tapper when he came on her podcast to discuss his Biden tell-all book. During the discussion, Kelly pounded Tapper for ignoring all the evidence while Biden was in office. I know we did. We played that video as well. But Ed Werder coming out. Ed Werder is well known. Covers the NFL. Has covered the Dallas Cowboys probably for the last 20-odd years. I think he works for a smaller network now down in the Fort Worth area. So, and that's a wrap in sports for now. I'll have some more updates a little bit later on scores. Back to you.
All right, Slick, very good. 21 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Memorial Day weekend. Glad you're in, everybody. Let's do some news. News is here with Our friends at Eternal Life Coin, eternallifecoin.com. Check them out. All one word, eternallifecoin.com. Rick Delgado's got it. What's going on?
All right. Well, of course, Slick was just talking about Jake Tapper being in the news. I know we played a couple of clips with him getting destroyed by Megyn Kelly, which are glorious to see. But he's still out there hawking the book, everybody. He wants to make sure you know where to get it, that you can get it. And I guess it's part of his way of trying to cleanse himself and recover from the Megyn Kelly interview as he uses his book now. It's almost like he's starting to point to it's the typical leftist media thing, but Trump, right? Yep. Yes, Biden is a decaying old fossil, but Trump. Here he is, cut number 2, Jake Tapper, still hawking the book, trying to get people to sucker up their money and pay.
But to your point, this book goes beyond Joe Biden.
Yes.
There is a call in this country, in the United States, there is a need for legislation to mandate that American presidents provide all of their health information under threat of perjury, because we can't be lied to about this sort of thing. We can't have a group of unelected aides running the country if there's a 2 a.m. phone call. It needs to be the person that's elected. So this goes beyond Joe Biden. It should be relevant to Donald Trump and whoever comes after Donald Trump. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. So
this guy's got some set of you-know-what.
It really does.
Isn't that amazing? Now, because, of course, they got busted running cover for Joe Biden. Meanwhile, everybody else could see it. This was not like some, oh, my goodness, how could that be? Maybe you had a hint that something was going on. This was blatant. This was so out there and in your face on a regular basis. Remember, they called lids at like 9 a.m. The lid, of course, is when they put the lid on the president. No, he's not going out. He's not doing anything. You won't see him today. That just means he was having a bad day, if you know what I mean. They couldn't let him out because chances are he would walk into a wall.
Chances are he was covered in a bed of his poop.
Right, that too.
I mean, this guy was a disaster.
Yeah, there were stories of him walking around the White House naked at some points.
Yes.
Well,
because,
he was looking for a pizza boy.
Right, exactly. And I don't know if you saw this, Damon. I don't know if this might inspire you to chase down maybe some other Democrats in search of some crazy town stuff. Did you see this from Nancy Pelosi? Somebody put this together. This is cut number 14. Could Nancy Pelosi be the new inspiration that Damon needs to revive Crazy Town? Check it out. Cut 14.
Please.
Watch this.
In my remarks, who was not waste, fraud, and abuse. This special order is. Thank you, Dr. colleague. Position. Now, that's what people who need it most, and giving it to those who need it less. This is shameful, and it is a fraud, and it's a shame. Veterans, seniors, the disabled, children, and working families without health care budget. She has a tracheostomy. What do you say? How do you say this? Tracheostomy.
What the
Tracheostomy. When Trump was president before, I said his name, and the Republicans were in power. When the Republicans.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking?
Oh my God! It's time for her to go to Serenity Lake Nursing Home.
I even did a better job last night coming out of the speakeasy.
Yeah, I speak bourbon. I know exactly what she said.
We'll be back in like 3 minutes.
Give me slick, Daddy.
Oh my God.
are met on a great battlefield. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives, that nation might live. We cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hollow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the great task remaining before us. That from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they here gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain. That this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Our live from Studio 6B on a Memorial Day weekend, another great tribute to what Memorial Day is all about there. Slick's doing sports. He's here. Delgado's doing news. Paul Nolan's going to do some news as well. News is brought to you by our friends at EternalLifeCoin.com. Let's do some more news with Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, the president at the White House today touting the hot nuclear industry as he was signing executive orders, making sure that nuclear energy becomes another option for us here in this country. And it was during that time when he had people around him at his desk and taking some questions from the media, where all of a sudden there was an awkward cell phone call interruption, Damon.
Really?
And during the president's Oval Office event, and it turns out it was the president's own device blasting out the annoying ringtone. Did you see this?
No.
This is
I don't even know
completely
what
new.
you're talking about.
All right, good. Because this is actually...
And I still don't understand it with your description.
Well, he was doing a press conference, after his signing the executive order for the nuclear industry, right?
Yep.
And all of a sudden, his phone starts ringing.
Okay.
Very loudly. So here's what happened as Trump gets a phone call during his White House press briefing. Cut number 3, check this out.
Thank you very much, but we don't want to have Canada making our cars. We want to make our cars. Oh, it's a phone call. Do you mind? Hello? Okay, it's only a congressman. I love it. I love it.
It's only a congressman.
And he sends him straight to voicemail.
Now, if it was a senator,
he might have to take his call, yeah.
That preceded yet another interruption just as Trump was getting asked about his administration barring Harvard from taking foreign students. It rang again. He said, it's a different congressman. They're all congratulating us. He then put the phone on silent. Kind of funny. Again, this is the kind of thing you would probably only see from this president, right?
For sure. For sure.
I mean, he's riffing at a board meeting.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. And I don't know if you caught this the other day. We did play the clip of President Trump with the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa.
Can I just jump in for 1 second?
Yeah,
Speaking of that phone ringing like that, and I don't know, maybe the phone is usually on silent, so we don't get to see it ring like that. But did you hear, I mentioned this the other day, did you see Scott Adams' description of the phone call?
Yes, and I watched that clip.
And he says the president left him a message, and he says, call me back on this number.
Yeah.
And he gives him a number.
Right. And he said it was funny. He goes, he has the transcription where your message is in writing. And he goes, I'm looking at it, and it starts with, hi, it's your favorite president.
Yeah.
And he goes, did I just send him the voicemail?
Did I just send the most powerful man in the world to voicemail? And it ends up that I did.
Right.
And he says, I listened to the message. He says, call me back on this number. And he says, of course, I don't call him back because who would do that? That's so inappropriate. And then he says, I looked down again, and 2 hours, 3 hours later, and here's that same Florida number
calling me.
And he picks it up, and sure enough, it's Trump. Oh, man. God bless Scott Adams, by the way. And I hope I know he's tried a bunch of other stuff, and he seems like nothing's worked. But I know he said there's maybe a couple other things they're trying. I hope he finds something.
Rick, is this the clip you're going to play that I asked if you guys played yesterday?
No.
Okay.
This is a little bit different. We did play that clip where President Trump confronted the South African president Ramaphosa with the chanting the other South African leaders chanting death to white people. But during the meeting, I guess the South African president thought it might be a good idea to bring a pair of high-profile South African golfers with him.
Ernie Els.
Yeah, to the White House.
Retief Goosen.
He brought Ernie Els and Retief Goosen.
He knows they're white, right?
Whoops. What did Retief do?
Yeah, and it didn't exactly go to the president of South Africa's way, the way he thought it might go. Here's cut number 6 as Retief Goosen talks to President Trump, cut 6.
I grew up in an area in South Africa that is a farmland area, Polokwane, and there is some issues up there. Obviously, my dad was a property developer as well as a part-time farmer, and some of these buddy farmers got killed. The farm is still going. My brothers run it, but it's a constant battle with farms trying to burn the farms down to chase you away. So it is a concern to try and make a living as a farmer. And at the end of the day, without farmers, there's no food on the plate. So we need the farmers to produce the food.
Right? He wouldn't even want to do what you're doing. Right? They love farming. They don't want to leave. But it's a struggle.
Yeah. So there it is, kind of blowing up in the president of South Africa's face, bringing Retief Goosen along, who his own father was a farmer and saw a lot of the things that they're talking about that he's trying to say isn't really happening. Yep. But it is.
Yeah.
So
I didn't see that, but I did hear about that clip. So
pretty funny.
All right, we'll do some more news with Rick Delgado coming up. More sports with Slick, but let's do some news with Mr. Paul Nolan, who's here tonight. News, again, is brought to you by our friends at EternalLifeCoin.com. Mr. Nolan, what's going on?
So I just wanted to try to keep touching on the AI thing right now. I just wanted to and I have a clip for it, but I'll try to keep it short. But AI is its exponential rate of growth is it's unfathomable. So when you think about how quickly people can and will be replaced by the automation of these thinking machines, it's getting to the point where you got to really think about your future. And I think that everybody out there should be paying attention to this because I think it is a lot worse than we realize. And this is I have this clip from what's his name, Schmidt from Google, the developer, Al Schmidt. He's a really smart guy, but he's really a program more than anything. This is a 2-minute clip of him talking about the rate of growth at which AI is moving right now. It is clip 13, if you can run that.
We believe as an industry that in the next 1 year, the vast majority of programmers will be replaced by AI programmers. We also believe that within 1 year, you will have graduate-level mathematicians that are at the tippy top of graduate math programs. So that's 1 year, okay? What happens in 2 years? Well, I've just told you about reasoning, and I've told you about programming, and I've told you about math. Programming plus math are the basis of sort of our whole digital world. So the evidence and the claims from the research groups in OpenAI and Anthropic and so forth is that they're now somewhere around 10 or 20% of the code that they're developing in their research programs is being generated by the computer. That's called recursive self-improvement is the technical term. So what happens when this thing starts to scale? Well, a lot. One way to say this is that within 3 to 5 years, we'll have what is called general intelligence, AGI, which can be defined as a system that is as smart as the smartest mathematician, physicist, artist, writer, thinker, politician. I call this, by the way, the San Francisco consensus, because everyone who believes this is in San Francisco. It may be the water.
That's funny.
What happens when every single one of us has the equivalent of the smartest human on every problem in our pocket? But the reason I want to make the point here is that in the next year or two, this foundation is being locked in, and we're not going to stop it. It gets much more interesting after that. Because remember, the computers are now doing self-improvement. They're learning how to plan and they don't have to listen to us anymore. We call that superintelligence, or ASI, artificial superintelligence. And this is the theory that there will be computers that are smarter than the sum of humans. The San Francisco consensus is this occurs within 6 years, just based on scaling. This path is not understood in our society. There's no language for what happens with the arrival of this. That's why it's underhyped. People do not understand what happens when you have intelligence at this level, which is largely free.
I mean, I don't know if you guys...
That's Eric Schmidt, by the way, former CEO of Google, now working on the board of Chainlink, one of my favorite crypto companies, and he is a vital part of getting Chainlink to be hopefully the backbone of the new digital economy, as everything gets tokenized.
Yeah, I'm betting on them. I'm betting on ADA, Cardano, and I'm betting on XRP. So those are my three, I guess you'd call them altcoins. But do you guys not feel like the gravity of that? Does anyone not see like how crazy that's going to be within 3 to 5 years?
I mean, in a way, we already have that in terms of having the smartest person in our pocket with one of these already, because all we got to do is put in what we want and it gives us the answer.
But now imagine having the power of the greatest think tank,
right?
I mean, because let's be honest, politicians on the ground level are puppets and they're dopey and they follow basically, to me, a giant corporate structured order. Those orders come from big-time think tanks. And these big-time think tanks, they recruit kids from Jump Street. They know when a kid is scoring wicked high IQ tests early on, and they watch them grow. And that's why you see some kid ends up at West Point. You'll see some kid who ends up at MIT on a full ride. And you see right away they're in the government. Right away they're in intelligence, Those think tanks have power. The fact that you'll have that app on your phone to have that kind of power and then some and more, it's incredible. God knows where this is going to go, and I just think people should just keep thinking about it a little bit, prepare for it, and just do your homework on it.
And not only that, but once you get it to that point, like he says, from there, it starts thinking without you. It won't need humans anymore.
That's frightening.
We're going to be the problem. And if you think this sounds like a movie, just watch The Matrix. At one point, the machines became self-aware, and
do you think
it became a war?
Do you think it'll make so many people obsolete from the workplace? That's where I'm going with it. I really wasn't going Skynet. I wasn't thinking about robots taking over the world.
Get under my desk.
What?
With the two of you. Just want to crawl under the desk and hide.
Well, I was thinking we should solve the problem for our audience. We love our audience. Maybe we can figure out. Well, you scared
all of them now, too.
No, they're not scared, but they're aware.
We have the bravest audience. David Wiles is in the office. That guy faced communists in the jungle.
I know, but now he thinks that some robot's going to come kill him.
Yeah, no, forget the robots. I'm talking
after he answers all his math questions.
I'm talking about preparing for careers in the future. That's what I'm talking about.
You two need to prepare for a career in the future. All right, live from Studio 6B. We'll wrap up hour 1 when we get back right after this.
All right, no more AI.
got some breaking news for you. Doctors are now issuing warnings over dangerous new COVID strain imported from China, per the Daily Mail tonight.
Of course.
Wow, I just heard somebody had COVID today.
So, did we put a tariff on it?
Just I don't know, but this is what's coming up. I guess what would they need to start this for now again? Is there anything? No,
because there's still a lot of people out there who still don't want to believe, no matter what you tell them.
Yeah. All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Memorial Day weekend. Slick's doing sports. Rick Delgado's doing some news. Paul Nolan was doing the news when we went to break. Paul, anything else that's caught your attention in the news right now, other than all of us dying at the hands of robots that are going to kill us?
I was talking about like people. Oh, shut up.
That's going to happen. I don't know why you guys are making jokes about it.
I'm not making a joke. I'm just asking if you had any other news other than that news.
It's inevitable. First they'll take, because what happens with every new technology that comes out? What happens with every new technology?
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Every new technology that comes out, two things happen.
You started this one day.
Two. Yes. First thing is sex. They try to sexualize it.
Oh, good.
And then the next thing is they try to weaponize it.
Yeah, well, you're right, actually.
So what happens? They're going to make robots that are really hot, and they want to have sex with them, and then they're going to turn around and kill you with them. That's what's going to happen.
You know, when we talk about the Zuckerberg thing, we said people only have like 3 friends. There's always been an expression that people have 3 real true friends, and they're lucky. And then he was talking about people need more friends, so get an AI friend.
Get an AI friend. Get an AI pet. Get an AI
Get an AI girlfriend.
Right.
And that's going on right now. So could you imagine, can you really imagine, what's the subscription price on an AI girlfriend that you're fooling around with?
It depends.
You know what I mean? Think about it.
It depends on the option.
Cheaper than dinner these days.
Oh, so David knows already. I mean, I can't, like I said, I can't cancel Netflix.
I was going to say,
he's got the hard numbers, I think.
When I ordered mine, it was,
But Zuckerberg's answer is stay at home, don't interact with other humans, and get AI friends. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, that's your solution, you wacko.
Right. Right now, it's like $10 to $30 for an AI subscription for a girlfriend.
Come on.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That's
all right, anyway, former Republican candidate for Congress in Florida was sentenced. I'm sorry if you saw the story, but I wanted to change this fast because the audience hates me right now for bringing up AI. Former Florida congressional candidate is sentenced to prison for threatening to kill rival Anna Paulina Luna. Did you guys see this story?
No.
So, former Republican candidate in Congress in Florida was sentenced for 3 years for threatening to kill his political rival. William Braddock, 41, of St. Petersburg, Florida, was sentenced in Tampa federal court Wednesday for being charged with interstate transmission of a threat to injure. Braddock pleaded guilty in February. Braddock made threats against the main political opponent, Anna Paulina Luna, who, by the way, I think is pretty cool, and who, she was the front runner. Braddock, a former Marine, and claimed Luna was his only obstacle to winning that race. He had said in a text message to a friend, I'm going to call up my Russian-Ukrainian hit squad and make Luna disappear. I will be the next congressman for the district, period, end of discussion, and anybody going against me is effing ignorant for doing so. So he's in jail, and I think that's pretty cool. Go stay there and think about what you've done, you dumb mother, never mind.
Jumper.
I don't know if you saw Hillary Clinton made a very important public service announcement tweet today.
She's retiring and going away, so we never hear from her again?
No, she's killing anybody who says her name in vain. No, this was she said on her Hillary Clinton X feed. By the way, you can't comment on her feed unless she lets you.
Oh.
So that's how you know how unpopular you are.
That's very free speech of her.
She said to my friends, exactly. I'm giving you a mission for this holiday weekend. If you want to talk to 2 people, friends, neighbors, cookout attendees, why Trump's proposed budget would be a disaster for the American kids. We owe our next generation this. So she's giving a list of things to say to your friends who you care about at a party on Memorial Day to create more hate, violence, and anger towards Trump. So so
to get yourself uninvited to every other party.
Right. So so make yourself as unappealing and unattractive to the world as she is.
As she and the rest of her family is.
So I thought those were some interesting stories. I don't want to hog it all up in the segment.
All right, very good. 8 to the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. And here with that, Slick Rick. What's going on, Slick?
All right, Big D. Well, at the American Airlines Center, the Oilers right now lead the Stars 1-0. They drew first blood. It's 6 to go in the first period. They need to win tonight, the Oilers. Otherwise, they're going to go down 2 games to nothing as Dallas does lead the series right now 1-0. And in the Garden, the Knicks have roared back to a heavy run here, and they're up 38-33 over the Pacers. Pacers started out, jumped to an early lead of about 8, and now the Knicks have come back firing away. 7:17 to go in the second quarter. Lots of time. Listen, there could be 2 minutes left. It's considered a lot of time for a team that's down by 14. So we know this game's got a long way to go here. This is game 2. The Knicks, absolutely, I need this one tonight. Can't afford to go down 2-0. And we'll get to some baseball scores a little bit later. But I do want to get to this one story here, if I might. Here we go. California athlete says she changes clothes in her car to avoid sharing a locker room with trans athlete. Female track team members express discomfort with locker room policies at emotional school board meeting. This is Jack Thompson of Fox News reporting. As California's transgender athlete conflict escalates, one high school athlete has resorted to changing clothes in her car to avoid uncomfortable situations. During a Lucia Mar Unified School District School Board meeting this week, Junior Audrey Vanwerg revealed her decision, and we have a cut on that. Can you roll cut 5, Aaron?
My name is Audrey Van Herweg. I'm a junior at AGHS High School, and I'm in varsity shot put and discus thrower for our track team. I haven't had to throw against a boy on the girls' team, but if I did, it wouldn't be fair because men and women are biologically different. The boys throw a 12-pound shot about 50 feet, while girls throw an 8-pound shot 35 feet. That's a big difference. I strongly disagree with what is going on in the girls' locker room and on the girls' track team. So much so that I change in my car for track practice because I feel way more comfortable in my car than in our own school's locker room. After coming to the last few meetings and watching teammates attack a person they don't agree with, I wanted to speak up to support my teammate and to protect women's sports. Thank you.
Yeah. California has allowed transgender athletes to compete in girls' sports since 2014. California's high school sports league, the California Interscholastic Federation, was one of the first in the country to openly defy President Donald Trump's Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports executive order after it was signed back on February 5th. The CIF is under investigation by the U.S. Department of Education for Title IX violations over the issue. California's state legislature failed to pass 2 GOP-backed bills to reverse the current policies that allow males in girls' sports after every Democrat voted against them on April 1st. Unbelievable how this continues to go on. And the girl's changing in a car.
Did you see the boys who got in trouble in Loudoun County? I forget where it was, but there was a trans girl who identified as a boy in the boys' locker room, and the boys were uncomfortable about it, and now the boys are in trouble. Did you see that story?
No.
Yeah, I'll get it to you. I'll bring it up in the next segment, but it's definitely strange.
I want to thank Michael Curtis for reminding me of this as we take you out of hour 1 here on a Memorial Day weekend.
Man, I thought we were through with this. Then I watched the evening news. There were folks that still wouldn't stand for the old red, white, and blue. At first it made me fight and mad how they think that that's okay. Then I thought they just don't understand, and given a chance I'd say, have you ever been there when taps was played or for a 21 gun salute? Had to hear the words you never want to hear. Have you ever had to face that truth? When a son or daughter didn't come back home to a family so devoted, then you might not disrespect our flag if you'd ever been handed one folded. Have you seen a heartbroken mother or a father fall to his knee? Been there
America's Voice family.
Are you on Getter yet? No?
What are you waiting for?
It's free.
It's uncensored, and it's where all the biggest voices in conservative media are speaking out.
Download the Getter app right now. It's totally free. It's where I put up exclusively all of my content 24 hours a day. You want to know what Steve Bannon's thinking? Go to Getter.
That's right. You can follow all of your favorites. Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, Jack Posobiec.
And so many more.
And the best part?
You can watch Real America's Voice right there on Getter.
Live.
So join the conversation.
Hop on the Getter chat room.
Engage with patriots who are just like you.
Good morning, Getter friends.
We're breaking news, we're delivering the truth, and we're doing it on Getter
every single day.
So don't wait. Download the Getter app now.
Sign up for free and be part of the movement.
It isn't just an app. It isn't just a social media platform. It's a community.
Hour 2, live from Studio 6B. Glad you're in, everybody. Slick's going to do some more sports. Rick Delgado's got a lot more news. Paul Nolan's got some more news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Glad you're in. Let me start hour 2 with this I saw today. Not our typical kind of story, but obviously, you know, you grow up with people and they inspire you to do things. For me, playing the piano, being a music major, wanting to play the piano, a lot of that inspiration came from this guy. And that's Billy Joel. Billy Joel announces heartbreaking health news today. I'm sincerely sorry to disappoint our audience and thank you for understanding. And that was the quote of what Billy Joel said upon announcing that he'd have to cancel all of his scheduled concerts for this foreseeable future due to some heartbreaking health issues. The news comes after the piano man fell during a show at Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut earlier this year. According to People magazine, he was singing "It's Still Rock and Roll to Me." I saw this video when he spun the microphone stand into the audience and fell down on his side. He rolled over on his back. He was able to get up and finish the show. In March, he announced he was suffering from some health issues and would need to postpone any shows he had scheduled through June. His plan was to resume his tour on July 5th. While I regret postponing any shows, my health must come first. I look forward to getting back on the stage and sharing the joy of live music with our amazing fans. Thank you for understanding. However, it now looks like his health is in worse shape than maybe we originally realized. In Friday's announcement, he said he was recently diagnosed with what's called normal pressure hydrocephalus, and that performing was exacerbating the condition, causing problems with his hearing, his vision, and his balance. He's currently undergoing physical therapy for the condition, but his doctors told him that performing was out of the question, at least for now. Joel's statement says that he looks forward to the day when he can once again take the stage. He's 76 years old. Obviously, we know about the run in Madison Square Garden. The Alzheimer's Association describes normal pressure hydrocephalus as a brain disorder in which excess cerebral spinal fluid accumulates in the brain's ventricles, which are fluid-filled chambers. As brain ventricles enlarge with the excess fluid, they can disrupt and damage nearby brain tissue, leading to difficulty walking, problems with thinking and reasoning, and loss of bladder control. It's most common in adults in their 60s and 70s, and it's often misdiagnosed as Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease. It's often treated with surgery, which places a shunt in the brain to drain the excess fluid into the abdomen. Normal pressure hydrocephalus is one of the few causes of dementia that can be controlled or reversed with treatment, according to the Alzheimer's Association. While head injuries and brain issues like tumors, infections, and inflammation can cause it, the medical community can't connect the disorder with any specific risk factors. So some sad news about Billy Joel today, and I hope that it's something that he can treat. And obviously wish him the best in his health. I mean, I'd love to see him perform again, but obviously his health and living as long a life as he can is obviously first and foremost. But yeah, I saw that today. That was, man, as you get older, right?
Your heroes start passing.
And you realize, man, Father Time beats everybody. There's nobody who's going to win.
Undefeated.
Yeah.
Always. It's like
I loved Billy Joel as a kid growing up, man. He spoke to Long Island. He talk about a guy who could really capture, what a young lad, especially growing up on Long Island, felt.
Yeah, and look what he did for the fishing industry on Long Island. He was a big, advocate for that as well, the shellfish and all. He was always out there. And
he was always out there protecting the fishermen and
New York State
telling the tales like Downeaster Alexa.
I was just going to say, out on the water on the Downeaster Alexa.
Yeah, he was just incredible. One of the most famous Long Islanders of all time, without a doubt. Yeah. He's just incredible. Incredible
One of the best concerts I ever saw was him and
Elton John
doing the dueling pianos.
That was phenomenal.
It was just so great.
He was supposed to play with Sting, I believe, in Citi Field later this fall. They were going to do a dual concert, him and Sting, which hopefully he'll get better and maybe he'll be able to make that, but we'll see. Oh, God bless him.
Is Sting one of those guys who says too much stupid crap at a concert? Because I don't want to go if he is. Cause
no, he actually doesn't.
I don't think he's cleaned up.
His first two solo albums were world-class, phenomenal albums, like perfect albums. I mean, the ultimate hybrid between rock and jazz.
I mean, some of the greatest albums ever. I mean, one of the greatest musicians ever. Absolutely.
The band he had on that.
Ridiculous.
Hiram Bullock and
ridiculous.
Yeah, those just.
I've seen him like probably 10 times. It's just him, Rush. I mean, there's so many that are just, the musicianship is on a different level.
I love Rush.
So anyways, so I hope Billy's okay.
You too.
All right, let's do some, what time is it? 5 past the hour? Hour 2, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some news. And here with the news is Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, I don't know if you guys caught this, but RFK is out there touting the Maha agenda, and his report paints a dismal state of child health in this country amongst national security concerns. His Make America Healthy Again Commission released its anticipated report assessing chronic diseases that have gripped U.S. youths in recent years, pinning the blame for a spike on childhood issues on a host of variables, stretching from ingesting foods with added chemicals to an increased prescribing pharmaceuticals to young kids. After a century of costly and ineffective approaches, he says, the federal government will lead a coordinated transformation of our food, health, and scientific programs. He also had this to say. I don't know if you caught this. He was talking about the food guidelines. This is cut number 9. And they're rolling out some new food guidelines. Check out the difference from what he inherited from the Biden administration to what he's doing under the Trump administration. Again, this is cut 9, RFK Jr.
We're reducing the dietary guidelines from a 453-page document that we inherited from the Biden administration. That was driven by the same industry impulses that put Fruit Loops at the top of the food pyramid. We're going to deliver instead a 4 or 5-page document that tells people how to give healthy food to their children. Those dietary guidelines will then drive changes in the school lunch programs all over this country. We are writing SNAP waivers every day to the states that are applying for them so that sodas and candies are no longer available using food stamps. Taxpayers should not be paying for food-like substances that are chemically based that are poisoning our population.
Food-like substances.
Yeah, food-like substances. And again, he we were laughing there, but he said reducing the size of the guidelines that he got 453 pages from the Biden administration to 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's just think about it. Like, look at the ingredients on that Peeps. It's a marshmallow and sugar.
Well, no, those are fine. Those are good. Those are mine.
There's so many ingredients in this. There should be
Those are
2.
healthy.
No, these are good.
Paul, not another peep about it.
First ingredients, sugar.
Right.
Well, that's
Second
good.
ingredient, corn syrup.
Oh, that's
sugar.
Corn syrup's good for you.
Right.
Gelatin.
Which is sugar.
Gelatin. That's rotten.
Are you trying to say gelatin?
Yeah, that's what he's trying to say.
My eyes
Polycystyrene, high-low
like Jell-O to me.
He thought he was Italian for a second. Gelatin.
He's having gelato. That's pretty good gelato, actually.
It is.
So, like what frustrates, what grinds my gears? What boils
You
my
want to know what else
beans?
is in here? My God.
Not really.
What burns my brisket?
Hold on.
Boils my beans.
You know what he's doing? He's using that app. You're using the app, aren't you?
Do you know what bites my biscuits?
I'm zooming in on my phone so I can see it.
Oh, you can't
we're
read?
on the air, Damon.
I know. I was just.
Yeah.
Oh, we're live?
Hello. So, I'm really frustrated by the way the media and the left have just completely pretended that the genocide in South Africa doesn't exist. Is anyone else burnt biscuits bitten by this? I'm so fed up by it. I searched why the left denies African genocide. Every single article is a hit piece against Trump, and it's PBS, it's Reuters, it's BBC, it's CBS, it's NBC, it's Washington Post, it's CBS again, it's even Al Jazeera, it's every major outlet, ABC. It just says how Trump lied about genocide.
Right. Yeah.
Did I get that clip? Do you have that clip?
Yamiche Alcindor was also, at the White House talking about it, and here she is, cut number 12, and she gets annihilated by Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Cut 12. Check it out.
The video showed images of crosses in South Africa about white farmers who have been killed and politically persecuted because of the color of their skin. And those crosses are representing their lives. Those crosses are representing their lives in the fact that they are now dead, and their government did nothing about it. Are you disputing that there's no...
The fact that the video showed what the president claimed it showed, because it did not show that. But even more, what I'm asking you is who at the White House...
it did show that. It showed white crosses representing people who have perished because of racial persecution.
Verify the videos that the president shows, and what protocols are in place when there's unsubstantiated information being put out for the world and world leaders?
Yamiche, what's unsubstantiated about the video? The video shows crosses that represent the dead bodies of people who were racially persecuted by their government. In fact, the Associated Press, of all places, has a picture of that very monument, and the caption from the Associated Press is, "Each cross marks a white farmer who has been killed in a farm murder." So it is substantiated, not just by that video and the physical evidence that everybody saw on display in the Oval Office, but also by another outlet in this room, the Associated Press. So you should take it up with them if you believe the claim is unsubstantiated, and that's a ridiculous line of questioning.
911, I'd like to report a murder.
Yeah, that was like a steamroller squish. Hey, by the way, just to back that up, Aaron, did you get that clip, that 50-second clip from PragerU? Let's roll that while we're at it.
South African farmers are being hunted from their land by black gangs. Fact. And I had a young son at the time, and he would sometimes have nightmares about when the monsters would come, at nighttime. But in South Africa, that is when the gangs come, and they work together and they attack white farmers. And some of the things that happen to white farmers, we don't need to talk about here, but the barbarity, it isn't just about burglary, which it gets filed away as. This is torture. And the numbers of white farmers being killed is incredible. And because South Africans have expropriation without compensation, which basically means we're taking your land. So I went and slept on the farms to feel the fear. White people are denied treatment in hospitals in South Africa. It's an extreme situation that no one will talk about.
So, just how the left can create a narrative. I had a post on X, and it brought out the craziest of the left in full denial that this genocide is happening. It's truly astounding how these lemmings are absolutely, completely sold by whatever supports their belief system.
All right, 12 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. We don't have time for news. We'll do news when we get back, plus sports. Hour 2. Glad you're in. More to do as we celebrate in remembrance of Memorial Day. We'll do more of it when we get back right after this. This July, there's a global summit of BRICS nations in Rio de Janeiro. The bloc of emerging superpowers, including China, Russia, India, and Iran, are meeting with the goal of displacing the U.S. dollar as the global currency. They're calling this the Rio Reset. As BRICS nations push forward with their plans, global demand for U.S. dollars will decrease, bringing down the value of the dollars in your savings. While this transition won't happen overnight, the Rio Reset in July marks a pivotal moment when BRICS objectives move decisively from theoretical possibility towards inevitable reality. Learn if diversifying your savings into gold is right for you. Birch Gold Group can help you move your hard-earned savings into a tax-sheltered IRA in precious metals. Claim your free information kit on gold by texting America, the word America. Text it to 989898. Birch Gold has an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. Thousands of satisfied customers. You can let Birch Gold arm you with a free, no-obligation information kit on owning gold before July and before the Rio Reset. Text the word America and send it to 989898 today. Text America to 989898. Get your Birch Gold information kit and see if owning gold is right for you. Well, tax day may have passed, but for millions of Americans, the real trouble is just beginning. If you missed the April 15th deadline or you still owe back taxes, the IRS is ramping up enforcement. Every day you wait only makes things worse, with over 5,000 new tax liens filed daily and tools like property seizures, bank levies, and wage garnishments. The IRS is applying pressure at levels we haven't seen in years. Increased administrative scrutiny means collections are moving fast. The good news, there's still time for Tax Network USA to help. Self-employed or a business owner, even if your books are a mess, they've got you covered. Tax Network USA specializes in cleaning up financial chaos, getting you back on track, and they'll do it fast. Even after the deadline, it's not too late to regain control. Your consultation is completely free, and acting now could stop penalties, threatening letters, and surprise levies before they escalate. Call 1-800-905-8000, 1-800-905-8000, or go to tnusa.com/RAV, tnusa.com/RAV. You may have missed April 15th, but you haven't run out of options. Let Tax Network USA help before the IRS makes the next move. 1-800-905-8000, or go to tnusa.com/RAV. All right, 19 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. The promo code is LFS6B. If you use that code at checkout, it'll give you a great savings. And now's a good time to shop at MyPillow, as Lindell is gearing up for a June 2nd, I believe, court date in Colorado, where his case against the election machines, the whatever it's called, not pragmatic, what is it, whatever it is?
Smartmatic?
Smartmatic, yeah. I guess that whole case starts on June 2nd. I saw he put a video out today looking for support from, of course, audiences like this one and audiences across all of our shows. One way to support, I think he had a Give, Send, Go. You could support there, but you can also support by buying at MyPillow. Use code LFS6B if you want to support him and us at checkout. Slick's got sports. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, Big D, NHL Western Conference Final Game 2. Dallas leading this series 1-0 at the American Airlines Center. Oilers score, lead 1-0. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scores the first goal. 19:56 to go in the second period. Plenty of time there, and the Oilers looking to even that series. And NBA action, Big D, MSG. Knicks right now, 52-49 over the Pacers at the half. Pascal Siakam leads all scorers with 23. This is game 2. I wouldn't say a must-win for the Knicks just yet, but very important game. They don't want to go on the road there to Indiana with 2 games down, so they need to hold on to this one. 3-point game. Boy, it looks like it's going to come right down to the wire there, so that should be pretty exciting. Well, we got a big race this weekend as well. Casey Irsay-Foyt, daughter of late Colts owner Jim Irsay, named honorary starter for Indy 500. That's pretty cool. IndyCar and Indianapolis Motor Speedway will also honor Jim Irsay, who died Wednesday at age 65, a few days after the death of Indianapolis owner Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay, Indianapolis Motor Speedway is honoring his legacy. This is Carrie Anderson of Yahoo Sports. The IndyCar Series announced Friday that Casey Irsay Foyt, one of Jim Irsay's daughters, will serve as the honorary starter at the Indianapolis 500 on Sunday. As Irsay's daughter said, Foyt will represent the Colts and the Irsay family at the marquee event, waving the checkered flag to start the race. Pretty cool there. Foyt also has a connection to auto racing as she's married to Anthony J. Foyt IV, a former IndyCar driver and grandson of four-time Indy 500 winner and a great, and I do mean great, A.J. Foyt. I thought that I saw that name. How cool is that, right? The Colts announced Wednesday that Jim Irsay had passed away peacefully in his sleep at the age of 65. The longtime Colts owner passed down ownership of the team to his three daughters, including Foyt. So nice way of the Indy 500. You know, the classic, one of the greatest races, arguably, of the year, right? Along with Formula and some of the NASCAR races, of course. But man, I can't wait to see that. That's coming up on Sunday. And well, let's see. We got one more quick story if I got time. I think I do. We got former NBA star Lamar Odom attends Trump cryptocurrency gala amid protests. Former NBA champion calls attendance to the most authentic, soulful experience in crypto history, despite corruption concerns. Ryan Morick of Fox News reporting. President Donald Trump hosted top investors for one of his cryptocurrency projects at his luxury golf course in Northern Virginia on Thursday, and one of them was former NBA star, the great Lamar Odom. Protesters gathered outside the club holding signs that said, "Stop crypto corruption and no corrupt fools." The ex-Laker was not absolved from those same protesters, but he was not fazed. "I'm just about to pass through security and officially walk into the Trump gala. Honestly, I'm fired up," Odom said in his ex-post. Think about it. What meme coin has ever done this? The dollar Odom sign isn't just a token. It's taking the stage at a presidential gala tonight. Odom also said in the post, "This is the most authentic, soulful experience in crypto history." Among those protesting outside the golf club was Senator Jeff Merkley, a Democrat from Oregon. This is the Crypto Corruption Club. The Times quoted Merkley as saying, "This is like the Mount Everest of corruption." 3 days before Trump took office on January 20th, he announced the creation of the Trump meme coin, describing as a way for his supporters to have fun, quote unquote there. Trump's main meme coin saw an initial spike in value followed by a drop. Its creators, which include an entity controlled by the Trump Organization, have made hundreds of millions of dollars by collecting fees on trades, according to the AP. Critics have raised concerns that the president's connection with cryptocurrency ventures could open the door to conflicts of interest and influence peddling. Odom played 14 seasons in the NBA, 12 of them with the LA Clippers and Lakers. He won back-to-back titles with the Lakers in 2009 and 10 and was named the NBA's Sixth Man of the Year in the 2010-2011. So cashing in on a little cryptocurrency for Odom. And that's a wrap in sports. Big D, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Slick. And again, Slick Rick Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell's My Pillow.
Big D, Delgado.
He went to the
Little D.
He had to go grab a donut or something.
He had to go grab a little donut.
Yes, exactly. He had to grab a little donut. Hey, you know, last night we played the Baby Damon, which was a big hit. A lot of the people watching it love the Baby Damon. You can catch it on our X. We posted it there from Real Prince Doll.
Yes,
who's been doing these for us.
He's great.
And since we just did sports, why don't we do Baby Slick Rick?
What do you do that for?
Well, let's do Baby Slick Rick, shall we? Here he is from the other day. Cut number 11. It's Baby Slick Rick. Check this out.
They literally cut my hands off, period. That's it. They put me out of business. They took 30% of my clients. They forced them basically with a, I want to say a gun to their head. That's a little extreme. You can go to Rick's Pharmacy and pay for your prescription. Guy's going to get a heart medication for $400. He's going to pay because I'm a good guy? No. Or you got to mail it away out of state or go to a CVS.
How did you do that?
I don't know.
Did you see the Paul Nolan one?
But the
I didn't.
There is one. It's a Paul Nolan one.
The Baby Slick with his mustache. His mustache is amazing.
I have a chocolate milk mustache.
Aaron, I think particularly likes these as well. So congratulations and thank you again to Real Prince Doll. These are great. Keep them coming.
Yeah,
we'll take a quick break.
Prince Doll.
We'll come back. We do have Paul's as well. We'll play his as well.
Oh, we will?
Yes. Come on.
Yo, Paulie.
Baby Paulie.
Yo, he's playing all these because he doesn't have one.
That's right. All right, we'll take a quick break. We come back more live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice. Stay there on a Memorial Day weekend.
past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Memorial Day weekend. Glad you're in. Slick's doing sports. Rick Delgado's going to do some more news. Paul Nolan's going to do some more news. And we'll send you off with a little more Memorial Day remembrances. And, of course, we'll take you back to President Reagan's, one of his many fantastic speeches about Memorial Day. We'll do that to close the show. But let's do some more news right now. News is brought to you by our friends at EternalLifeCoin.com. And here with the headlines is Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, thank you, Buckethead. Let's jump right to this story. I don't know if you caught this. What did I say? Oh, anyhow, did you see this weird twist to the killing of those two kids over at the Israeli embassy? The father of the suspect accused of the killing was actually a guest at Trump's joint address to Congress just a couple months ago. He was a guest. The father of the man accused of shooting two Israeli embassy staffers outside of D.C. Capitol Jewish Museum earlier this week attended President Donald Trump's joint address in March at the invitation of Democratic Illinois Representative Jesus Chuy Garcia. Eric Rodriguez was our guest during the president's joint speech to Congress, but we don't know his family, as the spokesperson for Garcia is now in full, oh my goodness, what the heck is going on mode. Rodriguez is an Iraq war veteran and steward for the Services Employees International Union, who works out of the Chicago VA hospital. Eric represents the very best of our community, it says here, someone who has served his country, continues to serve his fellow veterans, and fights every day to protect the dignity of working people, Garcia said in a statement. On the day of Trump's address, Rodriguez denounced the administration's treatment of veterans in a video posted by SEIU. But according to this, the son of this guy, Elias Rodriguez, is a 31-year-old suspect accused of shooting those two young Israeli embassy staffers who were due to be hopefully get married, but very much looking forward to a life together. So kind of a strange twist when you take a look at this story and see, how it seems like all these people kind of know each other. Isn't it weird? Boy,
that's really strange.
It's very strange. Kind of an odd twist, like I said, to this story. Just something I don't think many people saw coming. Here's a story we're doing a little follow-up on there, kids. Remember the Wisconsin judge, Hannah Duggan?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's video out of the old judge sneaking the illegal migrant out of the court after distracting ICE agents, according to the video. Check it out. The Wisconsin judge indicted for allegedly helping an illegal immigrant evade authorities is seen confronting immigration and customs enforcement agents shortly before directing the migrant toward a private exit out of the court. Newly released video footage appears to show Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Duggan is seen in her black robe speaking to the agents who were reportedly there to arrest Eduardo Flores Ruiz, a Mexican national facing 3 charges of domestic battery. The video released by Milwaukee County through an open records request as part of the evidence in the case against Duggan, who prosecutors say obstructed federal investigation by concealing Flores Ruiz and allowing him to leave the courtroom through a different door after sending ICE agents to speak to a chief judge. So there's a lot going on in this video. But check it out as she sends two of the agents to another room to speak to another judge. But meanwhile, I guess there are more than just these 2 agents there to make the arrest, which is good because I guess they were all over the place making sure that they could snag this guy. But check out the video. Here it is. It is, I lost it. There it is. Cut number 1. Here is the video of the judge doing the dirty deed and helping the illegal escape the courthouse. Cut number 1.
He meets his attorney in the hallway and walks towards Circuit Court Judge Hannah Duggan's courtroom. Along the way, he passes plainclothes federal agents who are sitting on a bench. They are there to detain him. After Flores Ruiz walks by, the agents turn to each other and appear to confirm his identity amongst themselves. But a few moments later, Judge Duggan and another judge approach the agents sitting on the bench. A criminal complaint against Duggan later said she was alerted to their presence by a court official. That complaint says during this interaction, Intermission, Dugan and the agents disagreed over the type of warrant they had to arrest Flores Ruiz. According to the complaint, Dugan ordered the agents to go to the chief judge's office. Video shows her pointing them through a double door. She then turns back to speak with other agents further down the hall and orders them through the doors as well. Shortly after that, with the agents gone from the hallway, Eduardo Flores Ruiz and his attorney exit into the hallway through a different door. As they walk down the hall toward the elevators, they pass another plainclothes federal agent. Neither they nor Judge Dugan seem to have noticed at the time. That agent motions to another to follow Flores Ruiz. Security video shows Flores Ruiz exiting through a basement exit. Upstairs on the 6th floor, the other agents have left the chief judge's office and worked their way downstairs. Flores Ruiz left the building onto 9th Street. Videos of the street shows the agents catching up to him. Flores Ruiz runs across 10th Street while trying to get away, but the agents catch him and arrest him.
Yeah. Well, there you have it.
That judge looked like Tommy Boy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like Down by the River. Man, oh man, that's incredible.
Yeah, and you can see that there was, you got to hand it to the ICE agents. More than just two showed up. They had them flanked all over the place, which was good because they thought they could pull a fast one.
Those guys are great on the ground, man.
Yeah, even more than the judge knew.
Yeah, well, she's a piece of work, huh?
Oops, they had one more than you thought there, sweetheart.
Yeah, exactly.
Well.
Of course, this leads to Judge Dugan being arrested 1 week later, according to the criminal complaint, and indicted on May 13th after a federal grand jury found probable cause to move forward with the case. Her attorneys, of course, are filing a motion to dismiss, claiming that these are just for her official acts. So I don't know about helping criminals escape as an official act of a judge, but you'll have to plead that BS in court and see how it floats.
Yeah, good stuff.
There you have it. And one last thing real quick. Damon, I know you missed Baby Slick, but we do have Baby Paul as we get ready.
Are we doing this?
Paul Nolan.
Oh, yeah,
we're doing this again?
Did you see this? That Comer identifies 5 staffers involved in the cover-up of Biden's mental decline and auto pen scandal?
By the way, I think this is there's a lot of big stories going on right now, but I think this story is getting not appreciated, it's not the right word, but underreported for how huge I think this story could become.
Without a doubt. Chairman Comer has demanded testimony from Biden White House physician Dr. Kevin O'Connor, the director of Domestic Policy Council, Neera Tanden, former assistant to President and senior advisor to the First Lady Jill Biden, Anthony Bernal, former assistant to the President and deputy chief of staff, Annie Tomasini, former special assistant to the President and deputy director of the Oval Office Operations, Ashley Williams. They went on to say that the cover-up of President Biden's obvious mental decline is a historic scandal. The American people deserve to know when the decline began, how far it progressed, and who was making critical decisions on his behalf. Key executive actions signed by autopennants, such as sweeping pardons for the Biden crime family, must be examined considering President Biden's diminished capacity. Today, we're calling on President Biden's physician and former White House advisor to participate in a transcribed interviews so we can begin to uncover the truth. In the last Congress, the Biden White House blocked these individuals from providing testimony to the Oversight Committee as part of an effort to cover up Biden's declining health. Any continued obstruction will be met with swift and decisive action. The American people demand transparency and accountability now. Nice work, Comer. James Comer, nice work. Just really good stuff.
And who was the bench? Senator Johnson, Ron Johnson, besides his speaking out against the Build Back Better bill. He's also, I think, been talking about the Biden staffers were taking money for the auto pen. Was that him?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's been him, right?
Yeah,
He's been saying that?
Actually, they scammed money out of it, too. And, speaking of scams, Tulsi spoke today, and she said she declassified documents reveal the Biden regime declared patriotic COVID-19 mandate opponents domestic violent extremists. Did you guys see this?
No, but hold that just for 1 second before you get to that. So what situation, if that situation about the Biden auto pen doesn't call for a special counsel, what does? What do you guys think of that? Does that call for a special counsel?
If anything does, that does. Yes. And I've heard people say, this should actually put that whole Watergate thing, put it to sleep, because this could be
bigger.
Even bigger.
Sure.
When you consider everything that Trump has gone through, way bigger than Watergate, and now this, where actual staffers were playing the part of the president.
I mean, Watergate's like nothing
compared to this.
To all the stuff we've been seeing the last 10 years.
I mean, boy, it seems like if there's any, I mean, again, I'm not an attorney, but it just seems like if there was any situation that called for outside independent, because you're going to be dealing with obviously the former president of the United States and his staff, and pardons and signatures. Man, it just seems to me that, boy, that would call for an appointment of a special counsel.
I mean, this would make all those pardons null and void. It would make executive orders null and void. I mean, this is a big deal.
Yeah, and James Comer, yesterday, he said that the four former Biden staffers, as well as the former White House physician, Kevin O'Connor, have been called in for questioning, adding the committee wants to depose them, the unelected bureaucrats from the former administration of President Joe Biden, to talk about his mental decline during the term, under the media spotlight, of course. That I guess we can thank Jake Tapper a little bit for his dumb book, because this has really raised this issue and put it right in the spotlight when you think about it. That if he doesn't write this book with some of these things that he's got in there, then maybe we don't know about, what was happening. It was just kind of thought about. It's like, maybe he didn't sign this. Maybe he didn't know about that. Now it seems we know for sure that a lot of the things he was doing, well, he really wasn't doing. Right?
I mean, I think we knew that without the book, but I mean,
me too.
I'm not trying to give Jake Tapper credit. But because it's his book, it's now on the left side of things, and they see it too, and they can't deny it because it's one of their guys.
I mean, this thing has all the makings of just an absolutely huge. We've never seen anything like this. If that's true, if people were taking money and then auto penning pardons, I mean, what it would equate to that we've ever even seen happen in this country? I don't think we've ever seen anything like that, if that's true.
Maybe Obama's Fast and Furious. No, everyone swept that under the rug too.
All right, what was your story, Paul, that you wanted to get to?
Tulsi is, she's talking about, she said declassified documents that revealed that Americans who opposed the draconian and cruel COVID mandates were declared domestic violent extremists. This is part of Mike Schellenberg's report. The former FBI agent Steve Friend explained the public designation created an articulated purpose for the FBI. I could say that for the FBI and other government agents to open assessment of individuals, which is often the first step towards formal investigation. In other words, COVID opponents were going to be potentially investigated as domestic terrorists.
All right, we'll wrap it up when we get back. A little more sports with Slick. We'll send you off with a little more Memorial Day remembrances. Live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this. 12:15 to the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night. Glad you're in. Slick's doing sports. Rick Delgado's doing the news. Paul Nolan's been doing the news as well. We're going to send you out with some Memorial Day remembrances of our President Reagan and some other things I think you'll like here. But let's do a little more sports while we can. We'll touch on a little more news if we have time. Sports is brought to you by our friend Mike Lindell. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, PD, I'm just going to take a quick run through the scoreboard as we're wrapping things up. Oilers over the Stars right now, 1-0, 5:39. The second continues to be a goaltender's duel. Game 2, Dallas leading that series 1-0 at the American Airlines Center. We have NBA action in the Garden, a good one. Knicks and Pacers tied at 70. 4 minutes to go there in the third quarter. That's going down to the wire. Game 2, Indiana with the 1-0 lead of that series there. Major League Baseball scores. Cubs over the Reds, 11-6, bottom 8. Mid-ninth, Brewers lead the Pirates 4-3. Dodgers blanking the Mets 3-0, bottom of the third after a rain delay. White Sox 4-1 on the Rangers, bottom of the seventh. Top 7, Royals and Twins tied at 1. Astros 3-2 over the Mariners, end of 5. Yankees blanking the Rockies 1-0 in Colorado, bottom of the fourth, and Marlins and Angels, no score there. And I gave you the finals earlier. Red Sox 19-5 over the Orioles today, and the Giants blanked the Nationals 4-0. And that's a wrap in sports for this here Big D this evening.
Okay, that's it?
Yep.
All
I
right.
figured I'd just give you a run of the scoreboard. Yeah, just we have time.
All right, 12 minutes to the hour, live from Studio 6B. Rick Delgado, any more news on your plate here that you want to touch on?
Yeah, you know what? One Democrat seems to be, I don't know, maybe he's having a crisis of conscience, or maybe he's just feeling the pressure of being under investigation. I'm talking about former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who's decided he's going to, I don't know, maybe he's going to try and run to the center as he looks to avoid being charged, and also looks to try and win the mayor's race in New York City. Wow. Here he is, cut number 8, discussing Democrat leaders who, according to him, they're the ones ruining American cities. Who'd have thunk it coming from a Democrat like Andrew Cuomo? But here it is, cut number 8. Check this out for yourself.
And that far left is so intense and so active and so strong, you better not get on the wrong side of them, because they will threaten you, and they will threaten you in a primary, and they're very strong in a primary because you have that low turnout, and they are the activists. So it's a paralysis. Unless it's perfect, right? The perfect is the enemy of the good. Unless it's perfect, we're not going to do it, and we're going to side with the advocacy community opposition whenever we can, and we get absolutely nothing done, and you see a deterioration of conditions, and people say, why? And you're all Democrats, and I went to Los Angeles, and all I saw were blue tarps everywhere, and homeless living under bridges, etc., and I'm afraid to walk down the street, and it's all Democrats who are in charge. And there's no one else to blame. It's you. And you want to point fingers internally, that does nothing for me. It's still you. And that's what you have to fix.
He's so full of it, too. Talk about backtracking on his BS policy.
Like I said, I think he's trying to tack himself to the center.
Definitely.
And, rewrite history, his own history, in hopes of trying to convince people that, hey, I'm not the problem. You can trust me. I'm a real Democrat. So there you have it. Andrew Cuomo.
Does he think that anyone believes that?
He believes
he's going to tack to the center? Well, what?
I think
you know what's so funny, though? Like, think about how much better he was than Hochul. That's how frighteningly bad Hochul is. That he's better than that wackadoodle.
Right, and she's out of her tree, and
she's
he was
out of her tree.
And he's out of his tree.
They're both globalist puppets.
Yeah, amazing. So
let's take whatever money they can to say anything they have to.
That's what I got for you, Damon.
One more thing before we get to our closing here. John Roberts, as Paul said before, Chief Justice John Roberts blocks lower court from forcing DOJ to comply with FOIA requests. Chief Justice John Roberts blocked the lower court order today that would have forced DOJ to comply with FOIA requests from leftist watchdog group CREW. But it's not a complete win, as this is a temporary stay to give the high court more time to consider the Trump administration's request to permanently block the order. At issue in the lawsuit is whether DOJ is subject to FOIA requests. So the Chief Justice, I guess, I don't know. He doesn't have any parties to go to this weekend, I guess, so he figured let me throw him a bone here or whatever. So,
or maybe they have some of his information. He doesn't want it out there.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So, all right. Thanks, everybody, on the show. Aaron Frank, great job as always. We're going to send you off here with a little Memorial Day remembrance from one of our favorite presidents besides 45 and 47. Of course, that would be President Ronald Reagan, speaking only the way he can about Memorial Day, and we'll take you out with some great thoughts and remembrances. Enjoy the rest of the day, everybody. We'll see you back here on Tuesday night, live from Studio 6B.
We are a nation under God, and I believe God intended for us to be free. We must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David. Their lives ended in places called Belleau Wood, the Argonne, Omaha Beach, Salerno, and halfway around the world on Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Pork Chop Hill, the Chosin Reservoir, and in 100 rice paddies and jungles of a place called Vietnam. They add up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid for our freedom.
into Turning Point Tonight, where together we are charting the course of America's cultural comeback. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Joe Bob. I hope you and your family had a meaningful Memorial Day weekend and Memorial Day. Considering the fact that it is Memorial Day, we thought we'd let you in on a little bit of a treat. Pastor Jack Hibbs and Charlie Kirk recently sat down in a sort of a podcasting format, and I thought the conversation they had was fascinating, and I think you will too. Please enjoy.
But please welcome Charlie Kirk, brother.
Jack, you're a great friend.
So great to be with you.
Thank you, and thanks for all that you've done for me throughout the years. And every week I'm watching Jack